Well, it's time for a special episode of our little chats. This time, the topic is depression and, to an extent, Movember. While I don't know about other people, for me, the fall is the worst time of the year for my mental health, even if I do love the holidays during it. A combination of trauma and brain chemistry, I guess. So, since Movember and its goals have some connection with me, here we go. Depression is hard, really hard. It's a bit like walking on the side of a mountain. Sometimes everything's fine with no wind, you have a nice wide path, while other times you're clinging to a wall, holding on for dear life as you stare into the abyss. Just staying where you are takes up so much effort, and the winds of your despair chill you to the bone, but it isn't the way it should be, especially for us guys. For me, I suppose, I've experienced depression since about age 12 or so, though that's more of a hindsight thing. It definitely came to a peak in late high school where I discovered I had no safety net. Essentially, everyone I thought were friends didn't care whether I lived or died once I stopped going to school. It was a bit of an eye opener, and it led to a lot of introspection. My parents weren't much help on the matter, and I had to look inward to really get to what my problems were. In hindsight, I guess I was a bit like Siddhartha Gautama. And after looking deep at who I am, what my motivations are, what was the cause of my own suffering, I had to piece myself together a little bit better than before, I'd like to hope. I had to address my own flaws, and it was just, it was a learning experience. My family doctor blew off my mental health concerns and essentially told me to harden up. So that's what I did for years until my mother died. Surviving day to day isn't living, and that decade and a bit of time was me grasping at the edge of the cliff by my fingertips. Finally, with no help from a doctor, I finally got treatment for my depression. No psychiatry, as that isn't covered under Canadian healthcare, just a pill. But for me, the pill did help. Instead of barely holding on, it was like the path widened and the winds went from howling to just the odd gust. Thing is, medication alone isn't enough, and it isn't some magical cure all. What we need are support nets to help us stay on the path. For the modern guy, especially after high school, our group of friends tends to shrink, and then so too do our support networks. It can be hard to find someone to open up to, especially one that isn't going to view you like a bomb about to go off. No man is an island, they say, and they're right. You can be solitary by nature, but too much time alone in your own head can make you nuts. Yeah. There aren't too many fraternal orders or gentlemen's clubs these days to confide with your peers in, so you'll have to find something else. Coffee clubs, book clubs, sports teams, board games, and hey, even D&D. You need some sort of hobby where you can spend time with some people and find some more anchors for your humanity. Some people have better luck with religion for the community and counsel and emotional solace. I'm not one of them. Watching a faithful servant die in agony in front of me smothered what few embers of faith I had left. I may still technically be a reverend, but that's largely on paper. But regardless, a lot of people help drown their demons and light up the midnight of their despair with faith, so take of that what you will. Anyway, life can be hard and really shitty, but it doesn't have to be that way all the time. You can be depressed due to brain chemistry, trauma, or some combination of whatever. It doesn't care about your socioeconomic status, your politics, your race, or your gender. Get some help, guys. It's not something to be ashamed of, to get help. Mental illness isn't something to be ashamed of. If you're shot, you go to a hospital. And just because it's your brain having problems doesn't mean you need to tough it out alone. Let's try and reduce those statistics, guys. Don't be isolated and build yourself up. And thus ends my very special episode. Stay safe and keep on rolling, everyone.